Today is the day you've all been waiting for. Since the very beginning, you guys have been asking us for my dad's
Siu Yuk
Chinese crispy pork belly. And finally, Daddy Lau is gonna teach us how to make this classic Cantonese barbecue favorite at home. Later in the video, we're also making our biggest announcement ever. But for now, we'll start with my dad's secrets to crafting the crispiest pork belly skin.
Hello， 朋友們，大家好啊！今日咧就同大家介紹下呢個喺屋企整焗五花肉啊，即係燒肉嚟㗎啦。呢度係大概係2磅10安士嘅肉啦。做之前咧，我哋將呢嚿肉俾啲滾水再飛一飛水佢先。而家咧我就俾水落去嚇，2杯水咁上下就夠，少少水就夠啦。而家我開火嚇，如果開到最大火，滾水之後咧就擺嚿肉落去煮佢。
In a large wok, we'll bring 2 cups of water to a boil.
好啦，水滾，將個肉擺個落去，擺個皮落去呢度下邊落去嚇，喐佢。
Shirley asks, how do you buy the pork belly with the skin on top?
我吞一吞有得賣㗎，但係嗰個有得賣啫。
One day we went to Costco buy meat. Then we want to buy the meat for Siu Yuk. Because the meat is totally frozen, we cannot see very well. When we went home, we opened it. Oh, there's no skin.
冇味嘅。
But this Siu Yuk the most attractive part is the crunchiness of the skin.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the
So
skin,
beautiful.
then will be kind of not much this dish.
等佢個皮入邊嗰度熟咗之後咧，吉嗰個窿嘅時候咧，就會容易啲吉下，好快脆得啦，幾分鐘得㗎啦。猛火咩猛火？
After a minute of boiling with the skin side down, we'll flip the pork belly.
好啦，呢邊就應該得㗎啦，反轉佢。
After just 30 seconds of boiling with the meat side down, we can remove it.
好啦，嚿肉咧就浸過滾水啦，拎開佢。好啦，而家咧就擺入喺凍水嗰度，都刮一刮佢，刮喺面上嗰啲有啲嚟睇乾淨佢嚇，刮乾淨佢。一定要刮啦！佢啲豬皮會有啲毛喺度，你刮乾淨佢嚇，刮咗之後咧，呢啲咪嚟睇嘢係嘛？
With a knife, we'll scrape off any hair or dirt on the skin.
啲水係咪當嚟洗定係咪有運到啲嘢？
嚿肉嗰個凍水一個嚟洗，一係個凍水啊。好啦，而家乾淨晒，飛過水之後咧，我用啲廚房紙抹乾啲嘅先，用啲紙索乾水佢。
Then, we'll dry the pork belly with a kitchen or paper towel.
呢個時候咧就篤窿嗱，用牙籤得啦，咁篤就得啦嗱。
Some of the belly have a thick skin. You choose a thicker area. Don't buy the skin is located in the thin area. That thicker skin will make your skin more crunch.
粥有咩做？
佢等啲皮索咗啲醋入去之後咧，佢會爆咗啲一個泡咁出嚟嘅。窿咧就越做得多越好，越密越好嗱。叉都 OK， 牙籤咪最好，牙籤夠尖。
We'll poke holes into every part of the skin with toothpicks or a fork.
你篤嗰時要篤幾深喎？
唔使好深，呢嚿皮好薄啫嘛。
即係篤過個皮啦，係嘛？
嚟篤過個皮得㗎。
Notice how he's using 2 toothpicks to do it more quickly here.
For restaurants or like ranch, Chinatown, when they're making this en masse, they can't sit there with a toothpick and Is there a tool that they use to just kind of roll across and get a lot of holes at once?
佢用啲鋼刷啪釘住有啲鋼絲喺度成扎咁。
We gotta get one of those.
After we're done piercing the skin side thoroughly, we'll flip over to the meat side.
佢陣鐘之後咧，背後咧呢度得3刀，唔好太盡啦，1/3就得㗎啦，咁樣。
解有咩做？
醃嘅時候佢容易入味啲。
He'll first score the meat lengthwise into thirds.
煮完嘅時候咪切出嚟咪會咁咩咯？
Then he'll score perpendicularly along the length to form squares.
切嘅時候就係咁啦，睇到嘛？
If you want to learn more about this scoring technique and Chinese knife skills, we're super excited to invite you to the CANTO Cooking Club, a membership where you'll learn to cook and think just like a Cantonese chef. First off, Made with Lau is here to stay and we'll still be sharing recipes and tips on YouTube every single week. So if memberships aren't your thing, no pressure. But for those of you who are super curious and passionate, if you want an expert to walk you through step-by-step how to master Cantonese cooking, then this might be perfect for you. In the CANTO Cooking Club, we're not just giving you recipes. For less than the cost of takeout, we're distilling my dad's 50 years of experience into organized, easy to follow classes, teaching you how to set up your kitchen, how to use a wok, how to craft and improvise with different flavors, and more. When you join, you get instant access to everything, and every month you'll get a new class to build on your foundation with videos, printouts, and mastery recipes. It's all on demand, so you can learn at your own pace and not have to show up at specific times. Also, in our private community, you'll get to connect directly with Daddy Lau, make new friends, and cultivate better cooking habits through our weekly challenges. So if you want cooking to feel more effortless and intuitive, go to club.madewithlao.com or click the link in our description to sign up.
切咗之後咧，我哋又落味咯喎，落味落咩味咧？五香粉半個茶匙，黑胡椒粉咧1/3個茶匙就夠啦，白胡椒粉咧少少得啦，1/4就夠啦，蒜子鹽1個茶匙，鹽咧半個茶匙，攪勻佢。
咪一定要有五香粉啊！
你五香粉就會香啲，當然你唔中意五香粉就唔落五香粉咯，唔緊要。搞之後咧，我哋搽上去，擺上呢度，呢個時間嗱睇住喺你罅度擺上去，
喺入邊啊！
又喺入邊度。總之咧就將嚿肉搽勻晒佢。
We'll rub in the dry seasoning on just the meat side, making sure to get it into the gaps we just cut.
呢個就頂晒啦。麵衣醬俾2個茶匙就夠啦，俾個茶匙糖上去。
你唔可以同埋一齊撈啊！
唔可以搽上又係搽咁搽上去。好多人唔落呢啲，但係我中意落麵衣醬，佢個味道會更加好。你可以唔落，咁搽上就得㗎啦。
With the ground bean sauce and sugar mixture, we'll do the same, lathering just the meat side of the pork belly and getting it into the gaps as well. We have all of these ingredients listed on our blog at madewithlao.com, along with step-by-step instructions and video clips to guide you as you make the recipe at home.
搽完之後咧，你就用個錫紙整個好似個盤咁裝住佢，長過呢個，整好之後多過佢咁就得啦。擺佢上嚟呢度，將個肉擺上嚟，喺皮喺上邊嚇。
We'll put our pork belly onto a large piece of foil with the skin side up.
變成一個盤咁樣。
啲皮唔使加啲味啊！
皮唔使整住，皮肯佢仲要自己整，俾醋。
We'll now fold the edges of the foil up to form a sort of dish around the pork belly.
咁樣至有咩作用？
包住佢，下邊嗰啲肉咧，經過焗爐嘅時候咧，就唔會太過燶，同埋佢有啲汁喺下邊，嚿肉唔會咁乾。
所以你係咁樣擺落焗喎？
係，就係咁擺落焗爐焗。呢個時候咧，就要擺翻落嚟呢度，嗰個碟裝住佢。少少鹽上嚟嘅面上。
Now, we'll sprinkle some salt onto the skin and rub it all over. Salt draws out the moisture in the skin, resulting in a crispier final result when we cook it.
加少少多啲落去。
We'll use a total of 1 tablespoon of salt here.
而家啫落咗鹽上去之後咧，好快脆咧，佢就將入邊嗰啲豬皮入下邊嗰啲水分扯上嚟㗎啦。而家開始濕㗎啦。5分鐘咁上下，佢就已經扯晒啲水上嚟。
未耐啲係咪好啲啊？
落啲唔得會係扯得個乾水就得㗎啦。
Now we'll wait 5 minutes for the salt to do its thing.
濕晒啦，睇到嘛？好啦，做完呢個步驟之後咧，將啲鹽抹咗佢。
After 5 minutes, we'll wipe the salt off.
濕晒，刮晒佢出嚟。
My dad uses a knife here to scrape off all the salt.
好啦，抹乾之後咧，仲有呢樣嘢，俾醋，呢個係白醋嚟嘅，唔係醋啊。
Now we'll pour on 1 teaspoon of white rice vinegar and spread it around to make sure it's covering all of the skin.
醋有咩作用？
等佢個皮會爆脆啲。
第二啲醋得唔得？
最好就白醋啦。
Someone said, I made it once and the skin was still so hard. What did I do wrong?
篤得唔夠好，篤唔夠密，同埋咧個皮爆得唔好。好似我而家用啲鹽扯晒嗰啲水出嚟。總之佢個皮越乾咧，佢就爆得越靚。我又俾啲醋上去，一窿浸咗入去，咁啊爆起上嚟咁啊爆。醋可以去咁啲肥嘢，炸子雞又好，燒鴨又好，都係要用啲醋嚟冧過隻皮。
After adding the vinegar on top, we'll need to refrigerate it to dry out the skin even more.
整好之後咧，擺雪櫃最少10個鐘、12個鐘，等個皮乾透咗先至焗，咁佢就會啲皮咧就會脆啦。而家擺雪櫃。嗱，咁樣將佢擺喺上邊嗰格，因為佢封口喺上邊嘅雪櫃，佢會更加夠力。
As my dad mentioned, the name of this dish is Siu Yuk, which literally means roasted meat. Like Ta Siu, it belongs to the epic family of Siu Mei, which means Cantonese-style roasted meats. This dish uses the fatty cut of pork belly.
How do you identify high quality pork belly?
你買翻嚟已經睇到佢有分，佢係一定一層肥一層瘦，一層肥一層瘦，叫五花幾層啊嘛，叫5層。
What he's referring to is the Chinese name of this cut of pork, Pha Yuk, which translates to 5 flour or 5 pattern meat. So when buying your meat, look for those luscious layers of fat and meat to create the perfect bite. Traditionally, these meats were painstakingly roasted on spits and open fires, but nowadays it's impossible to walk through a Chinatown without running into a Chinese barbecue shop with dozens of delicious roasted meats hanging by the window.
Is there a symbolism for this?
The symbolism for this is just good for our history. We don't have a lot of meat to eat. So when you have a piece of pork meat, you make them look good, taste good. Most of the time, just do it when we have a birthday, New Year, maybe holiday.
好啦，咪一門，而家嚿肉咧醃得夠時間啦，擺佢一夜，我而家攞出嚟，準備開始焗。
After 10 to 12 hours in the fridge, we can take out our pork belly. As far as tools, we'll need a baking pan and a rack that'll fit into it. Today, we're using a toaster oven, but an air fryer or conventional oven will work just as well.
擺咗一夜之後咧，啲皮已經夠乾啦，摸落去硬聲，係嘎聲噶啦，咁而家就開始焗得到噶啦。先將個爐開熱佢先。
We'll preheat the toaster oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
開400度，我要落少少水落個盤嗰度。佢個好處就係咧，太過熱嘅時候嚿肉會一下燶咗，所以落少少水落去，半杯水咧。
點解要有啲架啊？
晾起佢咧，佢嚿肉咧就底下唔會燶咗。好啦，我而家咧就擺啲落嚟。擺上嚟呢度，擺翻正佢，要等到個爐夠400度先至擺入去。如果用嗰啲大爐咧，就唔需要咁高個溫度，375就好啦。細爐咧，佢嘅拋下冇咁大嘅。我通常用細爐多啲，因為我唔想洗大爐。佢出焗嘢食。
如果係大於爐嘅時間係咪一樣啊？
都係差唔多嘅啫。嗱，燒到而家個爐就錯啦，我校翻375度。
When the oven is done preheating, we'll lower the temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
好，375，我而家擺嚿肉落去嗬。
Now we'll put the pork into the oven.
閂埋門。嗱，而家咧前一半嘅時間咧就等個肉熟，最收尾調高溫度咧就睇住嗰啲皮爆啦。
係幾多時間？
20分鐘至25分鐘。
As a summary, we'll cook the pork belly a total of about 1 hour. After preheating the toaster oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, we'll lower the temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and put in our pork. After 20 to 25 minutes of cooking, we'll turn up the heat to 425 degrees Fahrenheit and cook for another 30 to 35 minutes to crisp up the skin. For a conventional oven, you can lower the temperature by 25 degrees Fahrenheit respectively. These times are approximate and will depend on your particular oven. Definitely check on the skin 10 to 15 minutes before the end of the hour to make sure it's perfectly crispy but not burnt. To be extra safe, you can use a meat thermometer to check if the interior is at the minimum temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit.
嚿肉咧焗到而家就1個鐘頭可以得㗎啦，拎出嚟。OK， 哇，係好靚個肉。按照我呢個方法做咧，包冇失手。而家咧就唔係切得住，起碼要1個鐘頭咁上下啦。等佢凍咗之後咧，收咗啲汁先至切得到。你而家切佢咧，啲汁就流晒出嚟，就冇咁好食噶啦。
Can you freeze it after it's cooked?
你如果係諗住2、3日咁樣擺雪櫃都唔怕噶。你如果你係咁你我唔食，我有1個禮拜唔得啦，咁咪擺邊手咯。
咁點樣解凍啊？
唔解凍咪拎出嚟咪解凍。
拎出嚟咪由佢等佢自己凍。
你自己凍咯。
After we let our cooked pork belly sit for an hour, we can cut it.
個燒肉拎到而家就可以斬得啦嚇，睇下靚，聽下啲聲就已經條皮好脆啦係嘛？而家開始整啦
With a cleaver, we'll first cut the pork belly into slices lengthwise along the already scored cuts.
哇，咦
Oh my god. Patty from Patreon asks, how do you keep the skin crispy when you store the leftovers?
嚿肉咁樣擺翻正嘅喺上，俾個爐焗翻佢啲皮脆啦。
Yeah.
買個威又唔得，蒸又唔得。
Air fry and the oven.
Once we have long slices, we can lay them down and chop into smaller pieces like so. Now let's see just how crispy it really is.
Wow, 卜卜脆。
Oh, that's so good.
Made with Lau ASMR.
燒肉就燒好咗，斬好咗啦，希望大家中意。
Wow.
This is so good. Yeah, this is for sure one of the best I've ever had.
The stew in Chinatown many times.
Yeah.
Daddy Lau is the best.
Yeah, superior.
Good.
We bow
Thank
down.
you.
Thank you for sharing.
YouTube thinks you'll like this recipe next. Let's see if they're right. A huge thank you to our wok stars and all of our chefs in the Canto Cooking Club.